Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder, issue number one. Look, maybe it's just me, but I know I sat there and I read this and I ignored the Mutant Ninja Turtles part and I just saw Teenage Shredder, issue number one. And I'm like, oh goody. I was so happy. I was so excited. You know what I'm saying? Do we have somebody in the comments below? Please, please, pretty please, let me know. Is there a Teenage Shredder comic book that's out there? Like literally from the past. Not he was made into a teenager. I can care less about that. I want to see like way back in the day, his origin stories in the version of an entirety of a comic book because I would love to read that. I mean, like we got Casey Jones coming up, I think next month, right? I would love to see a teenage version of that. That would flip me the F out, you know? Anyway, F stands for fun in this one. This is a family channel for crying out loud. It's always, F is always for family. Anyway, let's get to talk about who made this comic book. We'll move on from there, all right? So, chapter one, Only the Blade. The writer is Dan Waters, two T's. That's a little weird, but it's cool. Waters. Michelle Bandini is the artist. I read Michelle and artist at the same time, came out as Adrian. The colorist is Marco Lesko. Love that name. Not an alliteration, yet it still rhymes. And Darren Robinson is the letterer and the designer. Let's also not forget the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. This book, it's not exactly, I got to flip forward. Thank you, IDW, for sending me this comic book. It is much appreciated. Just have to look at it on here. So there's these dudes, and they're like Homeland Security or something like that, FBI, CIA, GFYS, something like that. Don't forget, there's a family channel. And they're, what do you call it? They're trying to stake out this place for the past 2 weeks, all right? It's like the Shredder's old abode. And all of a sudden, Shredder comes walking up, Orokosaki. He's just in regular street clothes, and he's old AF. I'm looking for a teenage Shredder, and I'm getting old man Shredder. Big difference. Thank you very much, Mr. Mark Millar. Anyway, I'm not upset by it. This was actually, I like kind of, most of what happened in here. Some of the stuff was just a little bit weird. But I'm going to say that in the entire comic book, they really built Shredder up to be something awesome, right? A fallen something awesome, who's looking to get his rep back, and the foot apparently. Anyway, so he goes in and he gets he tears up everybody there. There's this clan. I think these guys are called the Cobra. Interesting. G.I. Joe crossover. Looking forward to it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can cross over with anything, and I would read it. So he's in there beating up on every single one of these people, right? They got his old symbol, but inverted. So it's kind of like this chick who's there, the mourner. She's the one who's in charge. She's kind of like the Antichrist, only it's the anti-Shredder. I don't know if it has the same connotation, but it happened. So she's actually kind of cool. She stomps, quite literally stomps on Shredder. But before she does, she's like, yeah, we worshipped you. I was one of the junior foot people. We actually worshipped you. And you knew that. One day you came up and my elbow was out of place in one of the training simulations, whatever, and you adjusted my elbow. And it was the greatest thing ever. You touched me. Not that way. There's a family channel. So he's like, okay, and she's like, and you never gave, it was the most important moment in my life, but you never really gave us anything, including your attention, the time of day, nothing. We worshipped you. Now you're just meat. You're just worms. Look at what you've become. And she literally stomps him out like freaking Seth Rollins style. Anyway, curb stomps aside, he gets arrested by those FBI people outside and brought in, and some Earth Defense Force, Earth Protection Force, whatever, she comes in, and her name is Alda Avon. And she's like, yeah, so the chick that you were getting your butt handed to by is is Mourner. And now she's gone. And we're trying to find her. She's in the wind. We need you to, like, catch the wind, inherit the wind, if you will. Anyway, good movie. So I don't watch a lot of movies, but I watched that one. It was in school, so whatever. Anyway, she's like, yeah, listen, we're going to do whatever we can to help you out because we know that you could escape from all these handcuffs and chains and all this stuff that we have you in, but you're not. So you obviously want something from us. And I want you to tell us what we can do for you. And he's like, I need to take a shower. Now he goes in by himself to take a shower because, this is Family Channel. Anyway, she's waiting for him outside. He comes out. He's like, yeah, these clothes fit pretty well. But meanwhile, they're like tight clothes, the tight fitting clothes. And he looks kind of like an old man street punk, gets a haircut and all that stuff. And he's like, okay, yeah, cool. He's got like the skinny jeans, you know what I'm saying? Not really. It's not that bad. It's not Batista returning to the WWE bad. Anyway, so that happens. I'm talking a mile a minute. Man, I should have had all that cocaine. I'm joking. There's a Family Channel. So, no, it's late and I'm exhausted. I've been exhausted for the past 4.5 hours. But anyway, so he is introduced to this new suit that he could wear, a new Super Shredder suit. I don't know if these guys ever watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2, right? The one where the Super Shredder actually appeared. That was wild, but isn't Shredder powerful enough as it is? Sure, this Warner chick got the jump on him, but he didn't know what to expect. That was his own fault. I don't even know why he was there. And this is an issue #1, so I'm going to finish spoiling this whole comic book. Issue #2 will be a different story. I'm not spoiling that one. I'll just give you some details of what happens. Most of you know how that works. Anyway, so he's introduced this new Super Shredder robotic suit. It's actually all of his stuff that they confiscated from him all the different times that they'd arrested him. And they piecemealed together and put some robotic stuff in there, right? Kind of like Iron Man 2, Whiplash, putting all that stuff together. I want my bird. Your bird? My bird. Oh, no, you want a bird? Okay, no, my bird. Like that stuff. Yeah, anyway. So this thing is awesome. It's sleek. It looks like a brand new Maserati. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome. And what does Shredder do? They're talking about, oh, yeah, man, it's got like an 18-foot vertical leap. It absorbs high explosive, high velocity rounds. It does this. It does that. It'll even toast your freaking, waffles in the morning, right? It'll toast your waffles, bro. Eat a good breakfast. There's a Family Channel. So he shreds it. I guess that makes sense now. At first I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but now that I put it that way, like I was going to say he strips it. Strips the Maserati. No, he shreds it. Okay, now it makes sense. Anyway, he takes the little gauntlet parts, he takes the little hat, the helmet hat part. He takes a couple other parts and he basically makes his own armor again. Dude's wearing purple and all this stuff and whatnot. And it's like, okay, so you just became Shredder again. Is this going to be a rise from whatever happened before? Guys, I want to recall, and most of you guys I imagine who are looking at this know that with IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they follow a continuity. They'll have the cartoony book that's over here that is out of continuity. It's just for the kids and whatnot. But most of their regular series, that's in continuity. There's crossovers and everything, which is awesome. The problem is if you don't read them all, you miss out on stuff. And I can't possibly read them all. I'm an adult who works for a living, That being said, this as a standalone, it doesn't quite hold up to what I hoped it would. Listen, Dan Waters, editors, whoever's responsible for putting this together, it should be understood that sometimes it's what Jim Shooter said, God rest his soul, right? Jim Shooter said every comic book somebody buys, or every comic book that you make is somebody's first comic book. Literally. Or at least it's their first issue. It's their first something. This is my first time jumping on TNMT in years, right? Even if it was just since I'd been away from comic books for about 2 years or so. No, this is a very different story. I'm jumping onto this. The series has been going on. I don't know why Shredder had a fall from grace. I don't know what happened. Look, if his fall from grace was that he started trying to use technology and now all of a sudden he's deciding, well, I'm not going to use technology. Let's strip all this down and, do my thing, just become me again. Okay, cool. If he was wearing a super suit before this and he decided that was stupid, I'm just going to be me again. I'm going to stand on business. Okay, that's cool. But I have no idea what's going on. There was no prelude, no build up, no nothing, just old man Shredder walking down talking about I'm going to whoop somebody's butt. I don't get it. I really don't get it. There is this first appearance of the Mourner character, so that's cool. That alone should be a good reason to buy this comic book. And it is the beginning of something new, especially if you don't need any kind of preamble. But I'm going to say this right now. The power of a forward, like 1 or 2 paragraphs in the beginning of the comic book, a lousy executive summary would have fixed all of the problems that I had with this comic book. I came in not knowing anything, and I left only knowing a few things. Not cool. I would like to at least be close to up to speed and just have a couple of people explain a few things that could have been explained at the beginning of this comic book. That's the only real problem I see with this. Otherwise, it's just a Shredder out of water, you know? Slices and dices of Sharonades, whatever that last word was. I don't know. Ginsu commercials back when I was a kid. I'm a Gen Xer. Let me slide on that one. This was all right. This was all right. I'm sure the people who've been reading for a long time, they're going to flip out and be like, yeah, because that's usually what these IDW books do with the TNMT, right? I do wish there was a little bit more. I hope they do something better with Casey Jones and actually give a forward why he's got his own solo series, why this is so important, why this is necessary. That would be fantastic, right? It's what they should have done with this one also. But we learn from our mistakes, right? Heck, they killed Optimus Prime. They let Duke live. Not exactly the trade-off I would have went with, but look at how much people love the Transformers now, right? Learn from your mistakes. Fix what you broke, right? And you too can have a return of Optimus Prime that'll make all the kids go, whoa! Right now, I'm just kind of like, what? Just because they start with the same sound does not mean they're the same thing. I'll talk to you guys later. I would consider getting this book, though. All right? Talk to you later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.